The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us again. We have a great show today. In fact, I do want to mention that we had our very own John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance, if you heard the show last week, as our guest host, doing tremendous work. In addition, he had some great guests. So if you missed that show, simply go to stewart.com/Houston. That's stewart.com/Houston, and you will be able to hear the show. And there was tremendous information. So thank you, John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title begins. Our guest is Mark Klecka with Klecka Tax Resolution and the radio show Taxing Times. He is a United States tax attorney and so much more. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for letting me come on your show this morning to talk to your listeners.
You do a lot in the real estate community, and certainly you do a lot with Stewart Title as far as seminars that our business development people have. And first of all, let's tell people about your company and how you're not just helping real estate professionals with their taxing times, but also other people.
Right. What we do is we help people who have tax problems, and even with this pandemic, people may have gotten into a bad situation economically, but there is a silver lining on the dark cloud. If they have back taxes owed, they can take a good opportunity to negotiate a settlement on that. And so what I deal especially with real estate agents there are people out there that want to either buy a home or even otherwise sell a home and can't do it because of IRS problems. And so if I can partner with people who are real estate professionals, and real estate professionals have a resource person to guide those people to resolve their problems, then they look like a hero. And then, of course, when the property sells or anything like that, they will engage that real estate professional to handle that sale and get their commission. So they'll look like a hero and make money. And that's a lot of people take, real estate people, they only want the people with the 700 credit scores, things of that nature. And there is an opportunity out there to help people, especially those who may not have got a stellar record with the IRS, but we can help those people, get a partial release of liens, things of that nature, get them organized or straight with the IRS, get them on a payment plan, et cetera, so that they can qualify to purchase or sell a home. So that's what I help real estate professionals with.
And that is a good point. The successful real estate professional has a group of professionals on their team, like a great title company, Stewart Title, and a great insurance company, home inspectors, but sometimes they forget to have a super tax attorney, someone versed in not just ways that they can help the individual going through the real estate transaction, but also real estate professionals are independent contractors, right? So a lot of times they need great tax guidance along the way, especially as they're busy closing these deals here as the market is so brisk.
Correct. And then also, there is a situation where real estate professionals can qualify just as a self-employed person for a PPP loan if they've been negatively impacted by the coronavirus. And they can get up to, based on their bottom line on their Schedule C, on their personal tax return, can get up to, if they're like at $100,000, they can get up to a $20,000 loan, of which $15,000 may be forgiven. And so, but you have to do the tax work first and get that information into the bank. There may be another round of stimulus or PPP coming out, but you never know when it happens. And so, when it does happen, the early bird gets the worm. And so if the person who's first in line or the people who are first in line grab it, and then it's closed out. So if you can get your tax returns together, show that you do qualify for that, get with your banker and sort of have a application laying on his or her desk for a potential PDP if they reopen it again. If you're all organized and have that ready for them, if and when it opens, then it'll already be laying on the loan officer's desk, ready to go. So that would be a good thing for real estate professionals to consider.
And certainly you've helped us at Stewart Title with some of the seminars our business development people have out there and have had, as I've mentioned, but also, of course, your website, I want to point this out, is KleckaLaw.com. You have your own radio show called Taxing Times. That is a super show. They can go to KleckaLaw.com to hear past shows and get the coordinates on that. But also, you're many things, Mark, and you're also an author, and one of your books is directed right at the real estate professional.
Yes, the book I have, it's on Amazon, is Why the IRS Loves Real Estate Professionals. And so we discuss there are two sections to the book. One section deals with real estate professionals and how they can organize their own tax records and things that they might be able to deduct. But more importantly, in the second section of the book, it discusses how you can help potential customers or clients that are looking for real estate that may not have like we discussed before, a stellar IRS record, and they may owe back taxes. They may have a tax lien. And so we discuss how you could guide them to us to help and partner with you to get a sale and get them helped out. And then you look like a hero to the customer. And then, of course, that you also make some money. So, it's a sort of a win-win there situation. So, if you want to go on Amazon, it's Why the IRS Loves Real Estate Professionals, and you can order that book. And a special deal or something, if you want to go on the website or call us up or maybe drop by and just say hello and drop a business card and say, I'd like to partner with you and have you as a resource, that we would probably give you a free copy of the book. How about that for a deal?
That sounds like a deal. Not only does the IRS love real estate professionals, but it sounds like you do too, Mark. Let's give them the phone number.
Yes, my phone number is 281-469-2444. That's 281-469-2444. Our phones are answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm not up 24 hours a day, but we do have an answering service, and they will get back. I will get back with you. And then mentioning the website again, Klecka Law, KLECKALAW.com, KleckaLaw.com, and you can listen to prior podcasts of shows, videos, blogs, things on the website, so you can get a lot of information there as well.
In fact, it's a great show because tax laws are always changing throughout the year. We have an election year coming up, so all kinds of things. That's why your show is so popular. But when we think about the independent contractor, certainly the real estate professional, but there are others out there that you're working with all the time. As far as realtors go, what are the common questions that the realtors ask you about in terms of deductions or other things that they ask you about when they want to seek help from you, a tax attorney and professional?
Yes. Main thing is they ask me or something like that. I don't have my records in order. I don't have any records. I don't have a mileage log for my travel, for my real estate business. That's a real problem. That really needs to be reconstructed. That's one of the biggest ones because that's one of the bigger deductions for the real estate person, going out, showing homes or traveling to closings, things of that nature. So you need to keep that in a calendar, and we show how that needs to be done. Now, there's other things, of course, promotional expenses, for open houses, things of that nature, office supplies, cell phone expenses. There's a lot of other expenses that need to be considered. To travel to educational seminars, lots of things to be considered. But the biggest one is the mileage log, and then we show them how to get a expandable plastic binder with several pockets. You can get those like any office supply store, and label each section so that you can drop in your receipts so that you're not scrambling the night before with a big pile of receipts and you can't remember what all of these receipts are for. And even worse, some of these receipts are on this thermal paper and they fade away to white paper. So we show them you really need to go, if it's on thermal paper, to go to an actual old-fashioned copier and copy the darn thing so that you have your receipts.
And
they lose them sometimes.
A quick word on the mileage log. What are the elements of that they must have?
Well, what you need to have is that you have a vehicle, and it, not only how many miles that you drove for the business, but how many miles the vehicle actually moved. Like, for example, it begins on January 1st. You had 18,000 miles on it, and on December 31st, you had 36,000 miles. So it moved actually 18,000 miles. So you have to keep that record, and then you have to keep a daily log of where you traveled. You traveled to this particular customer or this particular location. How many miles you drove. Now, that can be done either you can do it the old-fashioned way in an old, just a book or something like that, one of these calendar books, or there are these apps out there. You can actually get an app, and things like that they'll actually track this electronically for you and give you a record of that, So either one is fine. But to get any deduction, people say, well, I want to write off my car, I want to write off this. But the first step is that you have to, in either case, you have to have a mileage log. And then you can either go to the second step and use the actual expenses, like you add up all your gas and your insurance and your repairs, et cetera, and total that up and get a deduction based on the percentage of business use. Or you can take the standard business, 58 cents a mile or 55 cents a mile, whatever that particular rate is for that year, to deduct your auto expense. But in either case, you must have that log to start off with. That's step one.
Documentation is so important, Mark. And with the last minute of this segment, what else would you like people to know? And let's tell them again how they can reach out to you.
Okay. Well, the main thing I want people to know is that, this is all about, the watchword is documentation, trying to do your taxes. But more importantly, there are people out there that are, especially with the current situation in the economy, will be probably hurting out there, and you'll be running across people that maybe want to sell a home, and they have a tax lien. And so you need to know that there is something you can do and a person that you can guide them to and that can partner with you to help those people out, rather than just saying, well, they're sorry, I can't help you. You have a tax lien. Your credit report looks terrible. I can't help you. But if you know that there is a way to help these people, you'll be looking like a hero in their eyes. And so you need to call, if you collect a tax resolution, 281-469-2444, or go to klekkalaw.com, KLECKALAW.com, for the podcast and get more information and contact information.
There you go. Give Mark a call at 281-469-2444. And he has a great book, Why the IRS Loves Real Estate Professionals. Mark, thank you for being on the show. Give him a call, 281-469-2444. Check out the show, Taxing Times, klekkalaw.com. You'll enjoy those episodes. Thank you so much, Mark, for being on the show.
All right. Yes, thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today.
Our guest is John Altic with JLA Realty on the march around Houston, Texas. He has not slowed down since he started. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill. Glad to be here.
I see things on Facebook all the time. I hear about it from your agents out there in the field. Right now, you're still opening offices. Let's tell people about the latest with your company, JLA.
I'd love to. Yeah, it's a crazy time we live in. There's a lot going on in our world. But I'm a big believer in you find opportunity in the chaos. And about, I think it's been three and a half weeks ago, we went ahead and signed the lease, and we're going to open an office in Galveston. I think we're pretty close to opening the doors right now, waiting on a few odds and ends to come in. That will make office number 19 for JLA. For those of you that don't know our history, that's 19 offices in 6 years. We started with 22 agents in Atascocita 6 years ago, and now we have 1,000 agents and 19 offices across Houston. And it's a crazy ride. We're having a good time with it. Real estate is booming for us. I know people see the numbers. If you watch too much TV or see too many articles, you're gonna see people say that it's not good. For us, it's good. I posted first half numbers last Friday. June alone, we're up 50% over last year. And then for the year to date, even through COVID, which May was a tough month for everybody in real estate. People were just scared. Even through COVID and going up against one of my agents selling one $23 million property last year, which always skews your numbers, we're still up 5% for the year.
Wait a minute. Let's back up on that property. It was how much? 23 million?
Well, Last year in May, one of my agents, Nancy First, closed a $23 million piece of land, which, those of you in sales, you love it when it happens, but next year you got to beat that. So one deal, $23 million.
Well, if she's listening, we do want to say congratulations. That is stellar and super awesome. All right, keep going.
So, it's been great for us. It's a new day. It's interesting. It's finding ways to do business. What I'm most excited about is we're picking up market share. Our market share increase is 11% over 2019, 40% in July. So the agents at JLA, when this all went down, we came together as a leadership team and management team, and we really started to motivate our agents via social media. We didn't want them in the office. We don't want them exposed to anything extra. And finding ways to motivate them and keep them moving for those that are out here working. The real estate market is extremely hot. We do not have enough inventory, I'll tell you that, across Houston. I have witnessed people putting houses on the market in that $220 price range, and in 3 days they're in a multiple offer situation, 5, 6, 7 offers on one house. It's just not enough inventory. So the market is strong for us at JLA. We're still crushing what we always do, and we just found new ways to do an old business. We've gotten better. I look at this as a great opportunity because sometimes we get stuck in our ways and we get comfortable in our ways. And when something like this happens in a business world, is you got to find new ways to do the business and keep moving forward.
We have to be nimble and change with the times, adjust and overcome as always. Also, leadership is so important, and that's, I believe, from looking afar, that's one of your keys is leadership. That's how you have 19 offices and all the agents that you do. Keeping them motivated is important, as we're saying, but mindset. Let's talk a little bit about the mindset it takes. As you've seen all the real estate professionals that are out there, but also the ones that are on your team, what is the mindset that you see, the thread that's there with the very successful ones? What are some of those key points that they all have that are really successful?
There's no way I could do this without the management team and leadership team I have around me. And I would put my leadership team and management team up against any company in the country. They're amazing. They stay focused. In real estate, and you really touched on a hot topic here, Bill. In real estate, you work for yourself. You're an independent contractor. Let's just say you're a 32-year-old mom. You've got 3 kids, 4 kids at home. You're trying to juggle real estate. You're juggling homeschooling the last part of the year. You're doing all that. It can be a very daunting task, and it's hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay organized. What we see out here from a management perspective and leadership perspective is that you got to keep them motivated. You got to keep them positive because it's easy to fall into that negativity trap. It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's a very overwhelming business at times because real estate, you may not have anything, and then 2 days later you've got 3 listings and 2 buyers. So that's where when I see successful agents out here, they figured out a way to make the juggling act work for them. No 2 agents do it the same way. What makes our business fun is that it's not the same thing 2 days in a row, and it's not the same 2 agents and same 2 transactions. It's also very frustrating because there's no playbook for what we do. We can't say do these 10 things and you're going to be a successful realtor. So we have to, as a leadership team, is very much dive into the agents, understand the agents, and a lot of managing one-on-one to figure out what their needs and wants are. And that's what's happening right now. And actually, because we're able to do a lot of this remotely via the internet, via phone, I feel like sometimes we're able to have a longer, more in-depth conversation with our agents, because when you're in a face-to-face scenario, people have places they have to be. They're running out the door to take their kids to cheer or dance, and there's a lot going on. I have found through all this that we have really been able to dive into our agents and understand what they're doing and what their needs and wants are, and the numbers prove it's working.
Going back to your upcoming office in Galveston, number one, why did you choose Galveston, and what do you see the market doing, or what are you expecting it to do the rest of this year and beyond in the Galveston area, let's say?
Galveston's always been an area of Houston that's interested me. It's a second home place for a lot of people. I live in Kingwood, and I have a number of friends and acquaintances that have second homes, beach homes down in Galveston. It is a destination for a lot of people. It's a great part of what I call Houston proper. People love going there. It's a great place to get away. And over the last 10 years, I've seen the Galveston market continue to grow. A lot of new construction down there. a lot of beautiful homes. It's an area that for me made a lot of sense. This is a place where we can go, we can be a part of their business. And we have agents that have historically done business down in Galveston. We have agents that drive from Kingwood to show houses down there. So it made total sense to put an office down there, and let's run with this. And we're looking at others. We're already looking at Beaumont. We're looking at other areas of Houston. We're not done. We're just now scratching the surface. So we're going to continue to grow. The market as a whole depends on who you talk to, depends on who you're having conversations with. But one of the things that I tell everybody is that real estate is always going to be strong because people have to live somewhere, regardless of what's going on. For those of us that were around in 2011, 2012, we know what the bottom looks like. I see the last half of this year being relatively strong because I think people are going to continue to move. There's movement. Interest rates are extremely low. A lot of people are still working. A lot of people are still working and growing. Yes, there's some hiccups in oil and gas, but we're on the rebound from that. Yes, there's people that have lost their jobs or been furloughed due to COVID. But overall, Houston's always a strong market. We're not going to see Houston ever be up 30, 40%. It's not how our market's driven. It's not like the Vegases of the day or California back in the day. We don't drop 30, 40, 50%. We're a steady 3 to 5% market every year. And I think you're going to see us end 2020 in that same boat. I think we're going to be back half driven, even though we've had a phenomenal first half. I'm prepping my agents for an amazing back half.
I think that is a key word that you said, and that is movement. And that is a result of many things. Number one, movement is always going on. But when this pandemic hit, and as it's evolving, movement is the result of it in real estate. It is a bright spot in the economy, not just in the Houston area, but many other places, and in some areas, not so much. We're talking with John Altic, broker, owner of JLA Realty. Going back to Galveston just for a second, and for those that are listening to the show, regular listeners or not, by the way, Stewart Title, and you know this, John, started in Galveston over 125 years ago in that office, the historic office in Galveston, and now we are an international company, certainly all over Houston and the United States. If you've not visited in your travels there to Galveston, I encourage you to take the tour. It's historic. There's documents signed by Sam Houston there, so much history. So, John, what else do you want people to know before we close out the segment? You're a tremendous leader. I do want to mention this, too. One of the things that serves you and others, too, is that you love to read. You're inspired by a lot of business people and a lot of books.
Oh, I think people need to know that real estate's going to keep moving in the right direction. If you're on the fence about is it a good time to sell, it absolutely is. If you're on the fence about should you buy it, you absolutely should. Interest rates are phenomenal. We're seeing great prices on homes. We're seeing a lot of movement like you're talking about. But just stay positive out here. You talk about leadership, and, Bill, you and I always get together and talk leadership and books. And, we could spend hours doing that stuff. I think the key takeaway for everybody in our society with what's going on right now is to remain positive, keep an open mindset. We'll get through this. We always do. It's part of who we are as Americans, is that we find ways to get through the craziness, and guess what? Next year is going to be some other craziness. Living in Kingwood, I've been through the Harvey. I've been through this. Now we have a lot of craziness that seems to be happening, but it's all about mindset. It's all about moving forward. It's all about staying positive and surrounding yourself with people that see that same way. And that's why I love hanging out with you, Bill, and certainly love Stewart Title and all that they provide to the real estate industry. We're big fans of everybody at Stewart and what you guys do, and I always enjoy being on your show.
Thank you so much, John. Let's tell people how they can reach out to you and or your team.
We're very social media driven all over the internet, jlarealestate.com. You can catch us on Facebook. You can call my personal cell phone anytime you want, 281-744-2611, or catch me on Facebook. But thank you again, Bill. You're always a pleasure.
And let's give them the website one more time.
www.jlarealestate.com.
There you go. Readers are leaders. You are certainly a leader. Thank you, John, for being on the show.
Thank you, Bill. Have a great week.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Let's talk to Jen Gaudet. She is with Jen Gaudet Coaching Services, a business strategist, and so much more. Jen, welcome to the show.
Hi, Bill. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's great to talk with you, and the way that you're transforming people, helping people, real estate professionals, and many more in strategy and achieving their goals. Let's tell people about your company.
Oh, absolutely. So I own Jen Gaudet Coaching Services, and really and truly, I'm a business strategist married to a master transformation coach. So I really work with people to become the CEO of their businesses and their lives. A lot of times people have a hard time closing the gap between setting the goal and actually goal getting. So taking into consideration all the pillars of performance, really dialing themselves in as the CEO of their lives so they can master the CEO of their business is kind of where I connect the dots so that they can maximize performance in both areas.
And I think that's a great way to, from a mindset standpoint, to think about our lives. Yeah, we're out there doing things that we want to do, things that we enjoy, that are meaningful, but also we are the CEOs. We're the captain of our own ship, so to speak. And that's how you're helping people, right?
Absolutely. So, my core passion comes from setting effective boundaries. I spent 20 years in sports medicine working with elite athletes, and what separates the good from the great is the ability to set effective boundaries to master yourself, your physiology, your mindset and psychology, and really your time management and efficiency, because when you can dial all those in, what you do is you learn how to say no to the things that aren't serving you or aren't moving you forward, and that allows you the time to say yes to the things that really are going to get you where you want to be. And after working with them for so long, I realized that, as business owners and really as human beings, each and every one of us gets to choose our experience and what is it that we want in our lives versus what is it that we need to stop doing so that we can bring about what it is that we desire. It really is a lot of fun. I absolutely adore what I do.
In fact, I'll encourage people to go to your website, and that is JenGaudetCoaching.com. That's spelled JenGaudet, coaching.com. And even the menu that you have on your website, the transformation strategist, body confidence, that's something that we don't hear a lot about, but it is so important. And it also tells people about your story. And of course, you're pictured here with major celebrities.
Absolutely, because, it's really important for us to move in circles and to work in circles where we are growing. Lifelong learning is just who I am. It's important for me to be in the room with people who are doing much of the same and making a big impact in the world. Yeah, you mentioned body confidence. It's really funny because that goes into confidence in every area. If we are presenting ourselves as a business owner and as realtors really can understand this because they're very dialed in. If we don't have our shoulders back and a smile on our face, if we're not carrying ourselves with presence, then people don't really take notice or choose us in the mix of everyone else. So our presence, our body confidence, how we love ourselves and own who we are as we move forward, that's what sets us apart in our businesses and sets our businesses apart. So incredibly important to our brand.
In fact, Jen, when you mentioned body confidence and the way we carry ourselves, real estate professionals far and wide know this, and so does everybody else. Curb appeal is so important. When you go up to the house, that curb appeal, same thing is when you're looking at that real estate professional. That's the curb appeal, how they carry themselves before they ever even begin to speak.
Absolutely. I've never heard it said that way, but that is, it really is. And, when we talk about confidence and we speak about confidence as business owners, it is really important for us to have that confidence in what we have and the unique value that we bring. And it really starts internally with us. It's fun that when you work on your presence and you work on your body language and you work on your physiology, it really impacts the psychology, the inner confidence, that mindset, and helps you overcome any of your challenges. It's really funny. After 21 years in performance, the most important thing, if you don't feel confident, is to present confidence, because our physiology impacts our psychology, and our psychology also can impact our physiology. It's really amazing how our body works.
Both of those things certainly need to be in harmony. In addition, you are an author. Let's tell people about your book as well.
Oh, sure. So the name of my book, the title is Over My Dead Body, The Art of Saying No. It's a step-by-step journey towards boundaries that stick. And as business owners, particularly in real estate, regardless of what area of real estate you are in, I know that all my clients in the industry have a hard time setting boundaries. What is a boundary? It's owning the time that is for you, setting some non-negotiable appointments that you can take care of yourself, especially during the busy real estate season. And not answering that phone at 2 o'clock in the morning and then getting up at 4 a.m. Boundaries is really dear to my heart because I come from a sports medicine background, and in medicine, we are not very good at setting boundaries. So I had to learn the hard way. I almost lost everything that was dear to me because I spent everything on my career. I poured everything into what I did for a living. And ultimately, it almost cost me my marriage and my happiness. It really inspired me to start speaking on boundaries. And after I spoke all over the world, finally my coach was like, hey, write this book so that other people can have access to it. It really is a practice. That setting boundaries is a habit, and it's truly the key to owning what it is that we want to say yes to in our life, so we're moving in alignment with what's important to us.
The name of the book is?
Over My Dead Body, The Art of Saying No, a step-by-step journey towards boundaries that stick. And it's available on Amazon, or you can find it on my website. Steve Jobs once said that focus is about saying no. What that really means is you're using your no to determine what you want to say yes to. If we say no in areas of our life, it allows us to truly dial in what's important, what's in alignment with our values and our priorities, and helps us move forward in every area of life, whether we're talking about our personal or our professional relationships.
That is right. In fact, I have a to-do list, and I also have a not-to-do list. In the meantime, tell us how you're looking at the rest of the year in terms of mindset, and a few things that you might want to share with the real estate professionals listening, and really anyone else, as far as some motivation and some encouragement out there for us.
Right. With regards to the second half of this year, we are, of course, in quite a transition. And if you want to talk about looking at it through the lens of we're in a pandemic, there's a lot of things going on that are outside of our control. We cannot control politics or environment or social or any of those things. But what we can control is how we show up. And so as I look moving forward, there's a lot of uncertainty. And as human beings, we don't like uncertainty. It can cause fear and instinctually causes fear. But what I have learned is the antidote to fear is action, and the antidote to anxiety is activity. So when I look at it, if I have any of those uncertain things creeping into my mind, or I wonder if I'm going to be able to meet my goals, or where I'm going to be able to set my course forward, I always remember that crisis and uncertainty provides disruption. And in disruption, we can either choose to look at the problem or the solution. And as long as we look at the solution and the opportunities that arise, those are where our focus lies. And we say yes to those opportunities, and we just continue to move forward in alignment with our priorities, our values, as those opportunities open up. When we're talking about business, the second half of the year is going to be very interesting. You know, we don't know what's going to happen from a real estate. I know it's very busy right now, especially in Houston. It's on fire. I live in Cypress, and houses are selling at higher than list price. I mean, there's not enough homes on the market, really. But that can change on a dime. So understanding the fluid nature and where we are, living now and forecasting future, what we can control, what can we control? We can control how we show up. We can control what we can anticipate. Well, you know, people have lost a lot of jobs here, so there might be a softening. What will we do in that softening? How will I position myself so that people think of me first? How can I add value to my clients and my clients' clients so that I continue to ride the wave and be the first person people call, rather than kind of being in the mix, you know, and like trying to struggle for air. So it's kind of I guess the short answer is your mindset. It's how do you approach what's coming, even though there is a lot of uncertainty, even though we don't know what's actually going to happen. How can we set ourselves up for success? And right now, it looks like making sure that we've got an emergency fund. And now, you know, that we're here, we can set ourselves up for success in the case that we go back to stay home, because nobody knows. So what is it that you can do to set yourself up for success? Have a contingency plan. I think it's very, very essential from a business strategy standpoint to always have a contingency plan. Expect the best to happen, but plan for the worst case scenario so you're prepared.
We're talking with Jen Gaudet Coaching Services. Jen, before we close out the segment, what else would you like people to know?
Well, I think I would really encourage people, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, man, I don't know what is going on here. She's talking about all these different things. If you don't feel like you are the CEO of your life, if you feel like your business is running you and you've created a JOB when you meant to create a business, a great thing to do is to contact a coach. Whether it's myself or another coach, becoming the CEO of your life and your business, setting boundaries and knowing what your core values and priorities are is the easiest way to start gaining control. And honestly, if we're running a business, or even if we're working in a business, if we allow that to run us, then we're never going to feel like we are in command of our lives. And like we said earlier, the antidote to all of that is to take action and to take control. So what is the one thing you can do today? What is the one choice you can make today to move towards being in control of your business and your life, and to start that process?
And if someone wants to reach out to you, what should they do?
So the best way to reach me is my website, which I believe you've already stated, but it's JenGaudetCoaching.com, JenGaudet coaching.com. Or you can reach me directly by texting me at 713-305-8815. I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I've got a tremendous amount of value. Feel free to cyber stalk me in those places. I'm constantly putting content out to help benefit our local community. And I really do believe in supporting local and giving back. So if you ever have a question, feel free to reach out.
JenGaudetCoaching.com. And we thank Tammy Barner, our Business Development Officer, for bringing you forth to the show. Thank you, Jen, for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. It was a complete pleasure.
Let's talk to Claudia Da Silva with CB&A Realtors. Claudia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's tell people CB&A Realtors. Give us a quick word on your company, Claudia.
CB&A Realtors stands for Chance Brown and Associates. We are a local company here in Houston, Texas. We have 3 offices throughout the city and close to 400 agents.
And you also have a very recognizable brand that's out there. But as far as let's talk a little bit about using the marketing tools like these things like Facebook and Instagram, and how that helps your buyers and sellers, in case someone's out there listening and wants an agent that really knows what they're doing to get the word out.
Absolutely. So I'll take you in a little journey with me here. 5 years ago, when I decided to professionally become a realtor, as we know it in the market in the United States, because as you can tell by my accent, I do come from a different country where the term realtor is not as known as we know it here. It's more of an agent, licenses are not required. And so 5 years ago, I moved here, wanted to have my own business. And as a business owner, not having a sphere of influence, I transformed my hate-love relationship with social media into a tool for light, for a platform to share my journey, to share my passions. So when people ask me, hey, what's your secret with social media? In reality, I don't have a secret. It's my approach. It's how I change the way I see social media and how I use social media. So as you heard me saying, I use social media. I'm not on social media. There is a huge difference. So the way that I see it is that if you go into my Instagram profile right now, or you go to my Facebook profile, you can tell immediately what kind of person I am. You can tell what things do I like, what causes I like to support, my passion for my craft. And that's what was important to me, as well as a lot of education for the consumer. So that's very important to me, coming from a different country, a different perspective. When I got here and had to purchase a home, I had no knowledge whatsoever, and there was very little available to the consumer. If I were not to approach a realtor to explain the process, and I didn't know back then that the realtor was the one, because we have very international here in Houston, right? So there is a lot of newcomers all the time. It's important to have tools out there that people can connect with you. I'm originally from Portugal, but I actually moved from the Netherlands where I lived for over 10 years.
But here you are now selling real estate in Houston, the third, fourth largest city, they're saying. As far as the marketplace, you mentioned that you're mostly in the north. And when we say the north, let's define the northern area that you are in and do most of your work.
Absolutely. So I literally cover everything within 20 to 30 mile radius from the Bush Airport. That's very important to me because that's the area I chose to live, play, and work. So when I'm telling you that I'm truly passionate about the northeast area of town, it means because I too chose to live here. I know the local business owners. I know the good restaurants to go. I know the parks because I cycle in them or I walk my dog. So I like to share my passion for the area that I too chose to live as my workplace as well.
Well, there's so many areas. When we think of the north, first of all, we might think of the Woodlands. We might think of Spring. As far as, let's take Spring, Texas, and people are listening to the show, certainly after the time of broadcast, all over the place. But Spring, Texas, let's talk a little bit about that. Paint a picture, if you would, on Spring, Texas.
Spring, Texas is a suburb right outside of downtown Houston. So we are located off 45 North, 99, and the Hardy Toll Road. So if you were to have to travel to an employer, get to the airport, that's very easy to achieve. But Spring, Texas itself has a totally different geography than many areas of the Houston area. As a matter of fact, when I bring people to Spring, Texas, they can barely believe that they are in Houston, as we are surrounded by trees, parks. There is a lot of greenery and space in Spring, Texas, as well as employers. Exxon campus is around the corner, still in Spring. From where we are in Spring off 45, we can access all the amenities in the Woodlands, and we have several brand new subdivisions with brand new homes as well in the area.
Would it be safe to say the Spring area right now is a very popular area?
Spring is definitely a popular area since we entered what we call a pandemic. Since COVID-19, people started to realize that being on a condo or in the middle of the city was probably not where they wanted to be. And I think that's a realization from the recent months that we all have faced all over the world and in our city and the country. So we are starting to see people migrate outside of downtown, migrate from condos, apartments, townhomes into having a residential with backyards where, if anything in the future would lead us to believe we would have to be in a situation like this again. And I know there's a lot of jokes going around about this, but that people wouldn't mind to be quarantined in that home. I've heard that so many times. Even my family back in Europe saying, oh my goodness, we wish we were in your home in Spring. You know, you have your backyard, your pool, and the homes are actually quite affordable in taxes, in price per square footage, than in many other areas. So Spring has definitely become the place to be.
From a price point standpoint, let's take the number $350,000, right? And someone came to you, a buyer from the city or wherever they're from. They came and said, Claudia, I have $350,000 and I want the nicest home. I don't need a giant yard, but I'd like a yard for the dogs, let's say. And I have $350,000. What's the best home that I can get in Spring? What would that look like?
Right. In Spring, probably anywhere between a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot home, anywhere between 3 to 5 bedrooms, 3 to 4 bathrooms, you know, a good sized backyard, anywhere between a 10,000 square feet to a 15,000 square feet. And if you are a little bit flexible and work with me and let me show you where you would still be very close to Spring, just a little bit outside, maybe going to a zip code that is now Conroe, you can even maybe find a home for that price that has an acre of land.
You may have someone give you a call from outside of Texas, as they may hear this on the internet, and say, Claudia, I can't believe that. I'm leaving New York City to come to Spring, Texas. That may happen. You never know, right?
Well, that actually does happen. We have had an influx of people out of New Jersey, New York, including Florida, and obviously the usual suspects that we so much love, California, are moving here.
There's no doubt. What are you seeing in terms of, let's say, outside of the United States? Are you seeing any activity or working with people that are coming from outside the United States?
Well, right now, as far as relocations, things have slowed down somewhat. I believe that there is a lot of companies like oil companies, or my husband's company, for example, they are not traveling. They can't travel until September 30th. So I believe we're going to start seeing an increase. We're going to start seeing more again, but it's just a little bit slower. As a matter of fact, I just sent an email to all of my sphere of influence where I mentioned that summer this year is the new spring because things are just a little bit delayed. So we might see the activity in the summer that we normally saw during spring, right, here in Houston. Right. And then we will see probably towards the fall the same kind of activity we saw here in the summer. So things are a little bit delayed, but there's still quite a lot of activity moving here from other countries. Again, things are slowed because a lot of embassies, a lot of visas are being delayed. So we just need to think in terms of delayed, not that they won't happen.
And we are talking with Claudia Da Silva with CB&A Realtors.
I would love to ask you, if you're listening, to just connect. Connect even if you are just looking or starting to think about real estate. If you would like to learn more about the process, you can look either on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn under the same name, Claudia Da Silva. That's DASILVA. Or just give me a call. You can give me a call to 281-898-8337. I provide a lot of guidance, information, and a lot of it is free to you. 281-898-8337. And if you're calling outside of the U.S., just do +1 and then the 281-898-8337.
Thank you so much, Claudia Da Silva. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. It's always lovely talking to you.
Real Estate Matters would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. And today, once again, and last week, our guest host, John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. John, welcome.
Thank you, Bill. It's nice to be back on this side of the microphone.
I said it at the beginning of this show today. You did a fantastic job. People can access that show if they missed it. You were doing a super job. Plus, you had tremendous guests, stewart.com/Houston. They can hear that show if they missed it last week. But, John, here you are today.
Well, Bill, we when our guest Tom Carpentier last week with Stewart Insurance talked a little bit about how to minimize risks, I wanted to continue that talk on a little broader sense today and talk about how our realtors and real estate professionals and real estate brokers can protect themselves and their practices. You know, this is a fairly litigious society that we live in, and there's some steps that the real estate agents and realtors and brokers can take to both protect themselves and their clients.
To protect their business and their practices, they are potentially risks.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there are 7 steps that the real estate agent, a realtor, or a broker can take that can help them minimize that risk. The first is disclosing information. So if you know some relevant information during a transaction, make sure you disclose it to the appropriate parties. For example, if you're representing a seller and you know that there had been a pollution issue or a fungi or a mold issue in the home, be sure and disclose that to the buyer and or the buyer's agent. Documentation. Document all conversations, whether they be verbal or written, on the phone, face-to-face, but always document all conversations. Make sure that you're consistent with that practice. and make sure that you save that documentation. It not only protects your firm, but also protects your clients in case a claim results. Act within the scope of your duties and experience. A real estate agent's broker's experience is real estate. So, don't go beyond your area of expertise. If there's a question your client has that's beyond that area of expertise, let's say they have a detailed question about flood insurance or a detailed question about an appraisal, refer them to seeing a professional in that category. To go along with documentation, we also recommend that our clients verify everything. Verify all information that you receive. Have an established change protocol. So if there becomes a change in the payment process or the mortgage company or the bank or the lender, make sure that all that information is verified and that you have those protocols in writing and everybody's aware of them at the beginning of the transaction. Be aware of risks that are out there in the marketplace. So stay current with your CE classes. Lean on your broker for resources. That's what they're there for. If you're not sure, ask the question. Stay up to date on industry-related information. The National Association of Realtors has a great website with information. Here in Houston, the Houston Association of Realtors has a great website, as well as blog.stewart.com, where Stewart provides some really fabulous information for our realtors, real estate professionals, and brokers. For example, Dr. Ted C. Jones, our chief economist, his blog is there, and there's always fantastic information in Ted's blog. Attention to detail. Be disciplined in how you record things. Make sure that you have written procedures and you follow through those. Document everything. Well, we found that details keep clients happy. So make sure that they understand that you're following up on everything and that you're covering all the little details. And then finally, act with caution. Be deliberate in your actions. Don't relax your procedures if you've gotten busy. Continue to follow those processes you have in place. Make sure that if you have partners that you're recommending, that you've vetted them, they have the proper insurance. And then, as we said earlier, stay within the scope of your practice.
That's so true, and especially that last point brings up the idea of consistency. We want to do the right thing all the time in a consistent way. John, could you review those bullet points one more time before we close the segment?
Disclose information as you learn information throughout the process. Disclose it to the appropriate parties. Document everything. Act within the scope of your duties and experience. Verify everything. Be aware of the risks that are out there. Pay a great attention to detail and act with caution.
Super awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, John Bramblett with Stewart Insurance. And as you were mentioning, the website, Stewart.com, our Stewart site is a wealth of resources. StewartInsurance.com, in addition, is a great wealth of resources. John, let's tell people how they can reach out to you at Stewart Insurance.
Absolutely. They can reach us or any member of our team at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827, or email us at StewartInsurance@Stewart.com. That's StewartInsurance@Stewart.com.
And you are serving people with their insurance needs, not just here in the Houston, Texas area, but all over the United States, right?
That's exactly right. We can help our homeowners, renters, car owners, real estate brokers, professionals, real estate agents with their insurance needs throughout the U.S. 866-798-2827.
Music to our ears. Thank you, John. You've been listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am Bill Knapik. If you missed any parts of this show or you want to hear last week's show or any other shows in our archive, simply go to Stewart.com/Houston. That's Stewart.com/Houston. Once again, thank you for listening. Thank you, John Bramblett. Until next week.